Bro, Blue Lock is the absolute hypest thing you can watch in any given week of anime. 2 seasons straight, this thing is blowing my mind, and this is why we can't count anyone down for the count until they're fully eliminated, especially not the king. I mean, don't get it twisted, Asagi and everything he did, the disrespect and how he used the king so much in this match, that doesn't go away just because the king bounced back. He literally broke the king for the first time in his life. And that's the only reason the chemical reaction was able to happen and we got to see the zigzag of death. Because that final gold not only felt earned and warranted to come from the king, but it feels like the chemistry of the team makes sense now. Even though he's not going down without a fight, even though he wants to be still the best on the field, doesn't change the fact that there's a harmony there. And yes, they blue balls us with the whole who are they gonna pick. My bet has been on for the past couple of episodes that Chigiri would make the most sense just because of his speed, but honestly, I don't know. At this point, they could literally pick any of them and probably make a believable reason. Either way, we won. At least they didn't blue balls us with did Barou miss, did Barou score, because that would have been way worse than who are they gonna pick, but what an episode of Blue Lock. Just when I think I can't love it any more than I am, Barou's Awakening comes out and just has my jaw on the floor. Now, I do have a full live reaction to today's incredible episode available on my Patreon too, so if you want to see my full uncut hype, head on over there and consider supporting, because this was a great episode for sure. I like the fact that this is actually the first time Asagi has progressed in this new round of the tournament, right? Because you start off with 3v3, they then lost a member, it was a 2v2, they got back up to 3v3, and this is the first time they actually are gaining without losing here. There is a long road ahead, and there's going to be plenty of losses, plenty of wins throughout the Blue Lock journey, but it feels like just seeing Asagi, someone who, ever since this show kicked off, everyone's looked down on, saying he's not going to last long, or at the very least, he's not going to make it. But honestly, had Asagi's team lost, I fully am convinced that Chigiri and the others would have picked him in terms of bringing him over. I think Ryo would have been like, no, we need to make Nagi feel bad, we're going to bring him over. They would have gave him a box of chocolates, said, hey, the breakup's hard, I get it, but you need to move on. Because they were both saying the boy was unstoppable. So I was actually starting to believe like maybe he would lose and he would just join a different team. Like at that point I was like, okay, that's the only way a loss would make sense is if they pick our boy and that's how they can bounce back in the distance, right? But no, the build up of seeing this, it was harmony, right? They literally admit at the end, without Nagi doing the most crazy stopping a pass that would have gotten them a goal to then passing it around, they literally would have lost there. There was 3 people that were equally responsible for this team winning, and that was our 3 members. I'm not gonna lie, I think the MVP was without a doubt Asagi, but it's not like Nagi didn't pull his weight, and it's not like Barou didn't pull his weight either. He was the biggest hindrance for sure, but the way they were able to break his psyche down to the point that he actually passed. He actually passed, and that led to a goal. Like, I was like, holy, you actually broke the king to passing. And by the end, when it looked like he was about to do the last, he was kind of accepting like, oh, you know, teamwork is just how it is. And in any other show, what would have happened is he would have passed, accepted that it's okay to be the background character sometime, that it's just the way it is, it's a team effort, not a one-man show. But Blue Lock said, no, no, no. Friendship is magic, power of friendship, whatever other fairy tale nonsense you think you're gonna see in this shonen show, Blue Lock doesn't go that direction. Instead, you broke me to the point that I was crumbled, I was broken, and a new path set out before me. And similar to Asagi, who was so close to giving up for good, Barou took the challenge, new animation style kicks off, and he's zigzagging through 3 people to get the most badass goal he could have possibly done. It is not a one-man show, it is a team effort, but the fact that there's now potential, there's potential that there could be moments when Barou recognizes that he does have to pass, but there's going to be far more moments where he knows he is the king, and he now with that chemical reaction has figured out new ways to evolve so that he can use the team similar to how the team used him for these different goals. And seriously, whoever they pick, honestly, besides Ryo, I think he's still too little hung up over the breakup, he might be a hindrance. Either one of these 2, though, probably would be a very good asset. I just think the speed is the biggest thing in terms of what they need, in terms of who they're fearful of going forward in this tournament. But nothing's given. Even if you get the best players all on one team, the chemistry makes everything. Right now, however, I mean, he literally called our boy by his name, so there's progress being made. And just in general, this match, once again, you thought you had a favorite match, the next one comes out and it's even better. Every time I think I know what to expect or that I found my favorite point in Blue Lock, they somehow surprise me even more. And this show for 18 episodes has been peak hype after 10 out of 10. Like, that's literally the best way to sum this show up. I mean, I still remember early, like the first month of me covering Blue Lock, I was having these people, those keyboard warriors smashing, saying that, oh, you just like it because it's the new hype thing of the season, go watch this, go watch that, and most of the things they were telling me to watch I've already seen, but it's like, let people enjoy the shows they enjoy, and let the characters in this show cook, because once they get going, they really prove themselves. I don't think I've ever seen a character quite like Barou, who's gone from such an egotistical, hothead, know-it-all, to breaking him into almost nothing. Literally, there's a moment in this episode that he basically calls Asagi daddy. He may not say the words out loud, but his posture, his actions, and what Asagi was doing glare-wise, that's basically him saying call me daddy, and he did so with his actions. To see how he bounced up in a realistic way and how this show avoids the power of friendship but still has a teamwork element that makes sense, because at the end of the day, one person is left standing. So you have to show that you're not someone to work with as a background character. There's moments where you need to support, and different matches have different people excelling more. Sometimes Asagi, his chain reaction lets other people excel past him. In this match, he excelled past the others. It's constantly a back and forth of who's the most talented. And in terms of raw talent, they said it. Barou is probably one of the most talented Japan has. But is he guaranteed to be the best by the end? No. And that's what I like, is that it avoids all the cliches, gives nothing but hype, nothing but good character development, solid ass production value, and the whole package just screams, this is what I want to see more of in sports series. And holy, was this an incredible episode. I think you can tell. I think the excitement is here. But if it's not clear, let me put it into words. This was 10 out of 10. That is how much I enjoyed this. And I mean, as I keep saying, I think this is my favorite sports series, and I really don't think it's an exaggeration. I've watched this show now for 18 episodes, and at this point, I think I've seen more than enough to really solidify that statement. At this point, you could have a remaining 6 episodes of the season be absolute just horrible, and I could still look at what I've seen so far and say that is just absolute peak if you ask me. I'm gonna pass the torch over to everyone. Whether you saw the ending coming, whether you think you're like, I know who they're gonna pick for sure, or you just want to gush about what this production just did for a character who I thought was beyond broken, and they managed to pull him up and say, don't count the king out just yet. And at this point, there's currently a couple of kings on the battlefield, and just when I think I've seen every style possible that this show has to offer, they still find new animation techniques to make each character have their own flair, their own signature dish on this field, and it's just incredible to follow, man. But thoughts and feelings yourself down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, of course. We also got that full live reaction, all the uncut hype available on my Patreon, so if you want to see that, consider supporting. So, until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.